Blueprints don't stay theoretical for long. Someone always tries to walk through them. Once a story was mapped, the next step was inevitable. Turn the map into a journey, give it a traveller, give it meaning, give it a face. Across cultures, centuries and continents, stories kept returning to the same figure. A person who leaves home, faces trials, is transformed and returns changed. Joseph Campbell didn't invent the pattern, he named it. He believed it was already there, a mythic structure woven into the human psyche itself. For a long time that idea lived where it belonged, in ritual, in religion, in stories meant to explain who we are. Then Hollywood found it, refined it, simplified it, put it to work. This is the investigation, Anatomy of Story, my search for the hidden patterns beneath all stories. So what is the hero's journey, really? A timeless map of human transformation? Or a myth streamlined until it became a formula? In this case file, I walk their map, the hero's rise, fall and return, not because it's sacred, but because it was the first serious attempt to put the human condition on paper and make sense of it. Long before Hollywood started drawing circles and colour-coding beats, Joseph Campbell was out in the wilderness chasing myths like a bloodhound. Not the polished versions, the old ones, the ones carved into bone and whispered across fires. He wasn't hunting stories, he was hunting patterns, the ones humanity keeps telling like we're trying to remember something we forgot. Campbell wasn't chasing a killer, he was chasing God. He believed the great stories were all built from the same bones. Different gods, different masks, same ritual underneath. He grew up Catholic, but his faith cracked when he discovered comparative mythology. It was like learning your neighbourhood was just one street in an infinite city. While the world tore itself apart, he went looking for what united it, a shape, a cycle, a meaning that survived distance, time and language. Greek, Hindu, Norse, Native American, Celtic, scrolls, poems, oral traditions, different fires, same smoke. And in that smoke he found the loop, departure, initiation, return. A person leaves a known world, gets tested, gets broken, finds something and comes back changed. Not a writing trick, a transformation story. The death of who you were and the birth of who you might become. Campbell called it the monomyth, one journey wearing 1,000 faces. He wasn't writing for studios, he was writing for souls. To him, the hero's journey wasn't a formula, it was a mirror, a spiritual anatomy. That's why it landed so hard. Because it wasn't about plot. It was about the pressure a human being can survive, evolve. But evolution moves slow, Hollywood doesn't. It wants results, frameworks, certainty, a system that can survive meetings. The spiritual can't enter a studio without putting on a suit. Christopher Vogler read The Hero with 1,000 Faces and saw potential, not revelation, application. In the 1980s, working as a story analyst at Disney, he condensed Campbell into a 7-page memo, clean, digestible, useful. That memo spread through the studio system like wildfire, executive to executive, producer to producer. Development rooms lit up like cigarette tips in the dark, and suddenly the same structure appeared everywhere. The same beats, the same turns, the same emotional payoffs, timed to the minute. Star Wars was the smoking gun. George Lucas studied Campbell, even met him, and used the journey as a framework. A fanboy leaves home, finds a mentor, enters the abyss, and returns with power. After that, the flood came. The Lion King, Harry Potter, The Matrix, Mona, The Avengers. Audiences didn't get tired of it because it worked. Because it felt older than the screen. For a while it looked like a key to the human heart, a myth so reliable it printed money. but every tool casts a shadow. The hero's journey gave stories resonance. It also gave them repetition. Once a pattern gets named, it stops being a discovery and starts being a requirement. What began as Campbell's search for transcendence became a checklist. From spiritual insight to studio mandate, from exploration to expectation. And the hero got smaller in the process. Not a seeker of truth, a seeker of box office. Not transformation, performance. So what have you learned in this case file? The real hero's journey isn't on the page, it's the distance between who you are and what you're trying to say. Between formula and vision, between what works and what matters. Joseph Campbell mapped to myth, Christopher Vogler made it practical, but myths don't bleed, and heroes on diagrams don't flinch. Journeys are comforting, they promise return, completion, sense, but comfort has a cost. What began as a flexible pattern slowly hardened into a loop, a circle that claimed universality, a path everyone was expected to walk. And that's when writers stopped asking, does this work? And instead asked, where am I on the diagram? That's the moment the map stopped guiding the journey and started replacing it. That's when the hero's journey stopped being a myth and became a cage. And if you want the case files in your hands, there's a downloadable PDF waiting below. It's your worksheet for everything we've covered here and how to use it in your own work. Details are in the description. I'm Terry Dray, and this is the Investigation Anatomy of Story. Case file closed. Till the next one opens, be seeing you.